The least talented person in your niche is probably going to beat you. Not because the algorithm hates you, not because you started late, because they understand something about how attention works that you're still treating as secondary. Here's what I mean. There's a creator I know, Marcus, who spent 11 months making cooking videos. Genuinely skilled, culinary school background, clean camera work, tight editing, real technique. His sourdough series alone took him 3 weeks to research and shoot. Beautiful stuff. At the end of those 11 months, he had 64 videos and about 400 subscribers. 3 channels in his niche, all started after him, had between 30 and 200,000 subscribers. One of them filmed on an iPhone. One of them got the knife technique visibly wrong in at least 2 videos. One of them had audio so inconsistent you could hear a dog barking through the wall in episode 7. Marcus was furious. He talked about it the way people talk about being cheated on, like something promised to him had been taken, but nothing was taken. The deal was never what he thought it was. The deal was never, make good things, get an audience. It was always, make things people can feel something about, get an audience. Those are related. They are not the same. What Marcus made was impressive. What the other 3 made was magnetic. And impressed people click away. Magnetized people subscribe. So why does that gap exist? Why does the person with less polish, less knowledge, less technical ability keep ending up with more people watching? There are a few real answers to that. Not the comfortable ones. The ones that will make you a little defensive first and then, if you sit with them, actually useful. The first one is the hardest to hear. Most talented creators are performing for an imaginary critic, not for a viewer, for a judge. Someone who will catch the mistake. Someone who will know they got it wrong. Someone who will notice the cut was slightly off. The color grade wasn't quite right. The fact they stated needed one more source. You know who doesn't exist in the audience? That judge. Your actual viewer is not a judge. They're a person who had a Tuesday and wanted something to watch. They are not waiting to catch you. They are waiting to feel something. When you make for the imaginary critic, you slow down. You over-explain. You qualify. You hedge. You lose the aliveness that made you want to make the thing in the first place, because you sandpapered it off in the edit. You mistake polish for quality, and the two are not even cousins. The creator who films on an iPhone isn't making worse videos. They're making videos in a different mode, one where the roughness signals realness, where the wrong knife technique in episode 2 becomes a running comment in the community, where the dog barking through the wall is a weird little moment of humanity instead of a technical failure. They're not winning despite those things. In some cases, they're winning because of them, not because flaws are good, because the kind of person who would stop to fix every flaw is often also the kind of person who stopped feeling anything while they were making it. Which brings me to the second thing. Distribution is a skill. Most talented creators treat it like a formality. They make the thing, and then they post it. They put it somewhere. They tag it correctly. Maybe they write a decent title, and then they feel that they've done their part. The work is the work. The rest is marketing. Marketing is beneath the work. This is the thought pattern of someone who will be very talented with a very small audience for a very long time. The people who grow fast, the ones who seem to defy the talent math, they think about distribution as part of the creative act. The thumbnail isn't packaging. It's the first frame of the video. The title isn't a label. It's a promise that has to pull someone out of whatever else they were doing and hand them over to you. The first 10 seconds of the video aren't an intro. They're the moment the viewer decides if the promise was real. These are not marketing decisions layered on top of creative decisions. They're creative decisions. Think about it this way. You spend 6 hours making a video. Then you spend 4 minutes on the thumbnail. You put a slightly flattering image of yourself with a font you've used for 3 years and a title that accurately describes what's in the video. Accurate, not magnetic. Accurate. Meanwhile, someone else spent 40 minutes A/B testing thumbnail concepts on paper before they ever opened Photoshop. Not because they're less creative, because they understand that the thumbnail is the first creative problem. Get it wrong, and the 6 hours behind it might as well not exist. This is not a talent difference. It's a priority difference dressed up as a talent difference. And the talented creator, the one who's been quietly convinced that their quality will eventually be recognized, watches the iPhone person's numbers go up and calls it luck. It's not luck. It's a different understanding of what the job is. The job is not to make. The job is to make and be found and be chosen and be watched and make someone want to come back. That's a longer job description. Talent only covers the first verb. Third thing. This one is more specific. Talented creators often make content that proves something. Less talented creators often make content that solves something. These are not equivalent. Proving is about the creator. Solving is about the viewer. and the viewer is mostly interested in themselves, which is not a criticism of viewers, it's just accurate. I watch a video to fix something, to understand something, to feel better about something, to feel less alone in something. I do not watch a video so that you can demonstrate your knowledge at me. Even if I learn things in the second video, what I feel in the second video is impressed but distant. What I feel in the first video is helped. Helped is a stickier feeling than impressed. A creator who's been in their craft for 10 years has a different problem than a creator who's been in it for 2. The 10-year creator has so much knowledge that they don't know what's overwhelming anymore. They can't feel the confusion because they're not confused. So they make videos that cover everything, that get the full picture in, that honor the complexity of the thing, and in doing so, they lose the exact person who needed the simple version first. The less experienced creator still remembers what the confusion felt like. They make the video they wish they'd had 8 months ago. That video is useful in a way that the comprehensive one isn't. Not because it's better, because it's aimed. There's a guy named Jordan who started a productivity channel after quitting a job he hated. He'd read maybe 4 books on the topic. He talked about his own failures constantly. He got things wrong on camera and would correct them in the next video. His audience came along for the whole process like it was a story unfolding. Someone who'd been studying productivity for a decade could have run circles around him in terms of raw knowledge, but that person's videos felt like lectures. Jordan's felt like dispatches from someone actually trying to figure it out. One of those things has an obvious subscriber count, and one doesn't. Jordan had 80,000 subscribers in his first year. He's not a productivity expert. He's a person being honest about trying to get his life together. That turns out to be enough, usually more than enough, because it's the thing most people watching actually are too. This is the fourth thing. Consistency beats talent when applied to a clear niche and a real audience. Consistency is boring to talk about. Every creator advice video mentions it. It's mentioned so often and so flatly that it stops registering as real. But there's a specific version of consistency that matters here, that isn't just post every week. It's this: being consistent about who the channel is for. Every video Marcus made was essentially for a different ideal viewer. The sourdough series was for the serious home baker. The knife skills video was for beginners. The restaurant review was for foodies who wanted entertainment, not education. The equipment roundup was for gear obsessives. Each video was good. Together they were a mixed signal. A new viewer lands on his channel and cannot immediately answer the question, is this for me? The channels that grew past him had clear, answerable versions of that question, not because they were smarter, because they were more committed to one specific person. Everything they made assumed that one person existed, knew what that person needed, delivered it. That's a discipline that talented people resist, because talented people can do many things. The option to demonstrate range is always available. The channel becomes a portfolio of abilities instead of a service to a specific human, and services grow. Portfolios get admired. Here's the part that takes a second to land. The creator who's less talented but clearer is giving the algorithm something it can work with, not because the algorithm is smart. It's not. It's just pattern recognition on steroids. It sees that a certain type of person watches this channel, watches another video, then another, stays longer than average, comes back 3 days later. It finds more people who look like that person. It puts the video in front of them. They watch. They stay. The loop accelerates. That loop requires a consistent input. If every video is optimized for a different viewer, the algorithm learns nothing it can act on. You've worked harder and handed it less to work with. The iPhone creator with the inconsistent audio, who films in one specific niche for one specific person, gives the algorithm an easier problem to solve. That's not a small thing. That's the mechanism by which a channel escapes the gravity of obscurity. Now, all of this might sound like I'm making a case against talent. I'm not. Talent is useful. Skill matters. The channel that has all of the above, clarity, distribution instincts, a service mindset, consistency, and is also genuinely skilled, will almost always win eventually. Not always quickly, but eventually, if it can survive long enough to let the compounding work. But talented creators who are waiting for the talent to do the lifting are going to be waiting while other people pass them. Because talent is the ante. It's what lets you stay at the table. It's not what wins the hand. The thing that wins the hand is understanding who you're playing for and what they need from you in the first 5 seconds of every video, every thumbnail, every title. That's a different skill set. It takes longer to develop than most talented creators are willing to admit it takes, because admitting you're bad at something feels worse when you're good at something else, which is maybe the quiet tax that talent charges. When you're good at craft, the idea that craft isn't enough requires you to accept a kind of incompleteness, that mediocre people don't have to reckon with in the same way. The mediocre creator knew they needed all the other tools. The talented creator is still hoping the talent will cover it. So what do you do with this? You make something concrete. You pick one person, not a demographic, a person. What do they already know? What are they still confused about? What do they search for at 11 p.m. when they're frustrated with themselves? Make that video, not the comprehensive one, not the impressive one, the one that solves the thing they actually typed into the search bar. Then you spend as much time on the thumbnail and title as you spent on any other part of the video, not as an afterthought, as the first creative problem. Then you post it, imperfect, on time. Then you do it again. And the third or fourth time you do it, something will start to feel different. Not in the numbers necessarily, in the feedback. Someone will leave a comment that sounds like relief, like you said the thing they needed someone to say. That comment is data. That comment is the algorithm in human form, telling you that you're aimed at the right person. Build toward that comment. Make more of the thing that generated it. You will be tempted to go wide, to show what else you can do, to make the video you want to make instead of the one your audience needs. Sometimes those are the same. Often they're not. The discipline is knowing the difference and choosing the second one more often than feels comfortable. Here's the thing, and I'll only say it once because it's easy to say and hard to absorb. Most talented creators are operating under a model of fairness. The better thing should win. The more skilled person should get the audience. That's how it works in sports, roughly, in competitions, in things that have judges. YouTube doesn't have judges. It has humans making quick, irrational decisions about what to click and what to keep watching and what to come back to. Those decisions are not primarily quality decisions. They're emotional decisions, familiarity decisions. Is this for me? Decisions. The creator who builds for those actual decisions will beat the creator who builds for the theoretical meritocracy every single time. That might make you angry. Let it. Then get practical. You have the skill. The question is whether you're willing to also develop the other things, the clarity, the aim, the distribution instincts, the consistency in service of a specific person, without letting talent become the excuse for not needing them. Because that's the real risk. Not that you don't have talent. The risk is that you have just enough to explain away every other gap. The creator who knew they weren't the most skilled in the room had no choice but to figure out the rest of it. You might have a choice. The question is whether you take it.